Okay, we are recording. You guys, this is like so exciting for me because I've always wanted to do like a series or a bunch of Zooms on growth. And lately, this has been like on my heart for so long to share um, just about growth and why growth is so important in this business. And even if you're new on this, like I feel like it's just so important for us to be open to growing. Because I think there's like a stigma, right? There's like a stigma with this business that you want to be like the best all the time. You want to like strive to do your best, you want to be the best, you want to sign more customers, you want to sign more distributors, you want to like get all these things. You want to be like the best in the room, right? But in all reality, you actually don't want to be the best in the room. And so we're going to go over, I'm going to explain what that means. We're going to go over the 10 laws of growth. And I got this from John Maxwell in his book called, oh man, now I'm going to forget what it's called. It's not All In. I always think it's All In. Shoot, let me look because I don't want to butcher this. And I want to make sure. No Limits. No Limits is what it's called. So good. And he goes over this in, I literally listened to it 4 times yesterday. So number 1 of the 10 laws of growth is others are ahead of you. Okay, that's the number 1. Others are ahead of you. Now, you can look at this 2 ways. You can either look at it as like so-and-so is doing so much better than me, or you can look at it as what is so-and-so doing so that I can be better myself. Okay, so there is like there's going to be people that are like you want to be the head of your class, right? But take a look around in your circle. If you are the one who's making the most money, or if you are the one who is doing the most with your life, or if you're the one that's always the best at what you do, then maybe it's time to find somebody that's better at it than you. Does that make sense? Like you guys want to always be striving to be better. You need to be challenged. You need to be challenged. So, for me, I'm always looking at what the other top leaders are doing. I want to know what the top 20 is doing. I'm not top 20 yet. So I want to know what those people are doing up there in top 20 so that I can see and do what they're doing so that I can learn from them, because you always want to be learning. Okay. You always want to be learning. And so when you start to compare, I want you guys to remember, like I always say this, comparison is the thief of joy, right? You don't want to compare your journey to somebody else's. It's not your race. It's a different race. They're in their own lane. They're doing their own things. And you don't want to compare your journey because, they might win like in a race, but okay, wait, there was a perfect saying that I wanted to say really quickly. Winning is overrated, is what he said. Winning is overrated, but growing is underrated. So you always want to be growing and learning when it comes to this. Find the people in your circle who are better and use their journey as inspiration. Okay. I think it's so easy for us to see others' journey and other journeys and get super discouraged, right? Like I've been in the business the same amount of time as her and I'm not where I want to be, or I'm not where she is, or whatever. Instead, look at her journey and know, okay, you guys need to know this. Know that she had her valleys. Okay. She had her valleys to get to where she is. You guys have to go through your valleys in order to get to where you are too. You may be watching somebody on social media and comparing yourself, but in all reality, like you have no idea what they went through to get to where they are today. So remember that and know that your journey is your journey. And instead say, wow, look how far she's gotten. How far can I get? Because look how far she's gone. I bet you I could go just as far. Use that as fuel and inspiration instead of that negative aspect of like comparison. Okay. I'm going to move on to number 2, and I want to hear from Caitlin on this one too. So number 2 is you are continually challenged. He said, you want to wake up with a gulp. Okay. Not a yawn. I love that. How many of you are waking up with a yawn every day? Like drop a 3 in the chats. Like how many of you are waking up with a yawn because you're so tired? It's just another hamster wheel of a day. You're working day in and day out to just constantly provide and put food on the table, and just all of these things are just eating at you. I see a ton of 3s. We wake up with these yawns because we run ourselves ragged, right? We run ourselves ragged. how can we start waking up with a gulp? Okay, his analogy was that, you know, waking up with a gulp means that you're kind of like scared. You got some big goals. You got some big goals that day that you want to fulfill, and you want to make sure that, you know, you want to tackle that day with like, okay, I didn't just wake up tired, because you don't want to wake up to a life where you're tired and yawning and like there's nothing exciting happening, right? You want to wake up and gulp and be like, okay, I've got to do this today. I've got to change some people's lives today. I've got to help somebody get fast started today. Like, I want to put $500 in my savings today. Like, whatever it may be, whatever your goals are, they can be even bigger than that. You want to be gulping. You want to be excited when you wake up in the morning, so that you can really move some mountains. Caitlin, I'm gonna bring it over to you. I want to hear what you got on this one.
Okay, so the main thing that I thought about when I read the Continually Challenged was a lot of times we just get stagnant in this, and we just like go through the motions and we'll complete our 6 lists, but we just like do the same things every day, and then we get to a point where we're just like, our business isn't going anywhere. So to continually challenging yourself, you really need to be like just doing more every day, and instead of waking up with that yawn and just going through the motions, we need to be doing more each day. So challenging yourself every day, picking up that gulp, and that's the main way your business is going to grow, is by challenging yourself, instead of just, when your business is stagnant, you need to figure out what you can do to grow.
Yes, I love that. Just
that was like,
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was
Oh, okay. It like echoed back at me. I love that. You always want to be out of your comfort zone, you guys. Nothing grows inside your comfort zone. You have to be pushing yourself outside of that. Okay, number 3 is focus is forward. So you always want your focus forward. Where your focus is, your energy flows. Okay, he said, where your focus goes, your energy flows. I love that. So whatever you're focusing on, if you're focusing on loyal customers, your energy is going to flow to those loyal customers. If you're focusing on distributors, your energy is going to flow there. Have you guys ever noticed that when you shift gears on things start happening? My favorite analogy for this is when we were looking for trailers, and you guys can do this with like cars or anything, but like when we were looking for trailers, literally every single fifth wheel or travel trailer that went down the road, we saw them. Do you guys ever notice that? Like if you're looking for a car that you really, really want, maybe you want like a new 4Runner or something, you're going to see every single 4Runner that goes down that road, because you're focused on it. That's where your focus is going to go. So whatever you need your business to turn, whichever way you want your business to turn, you have to be focused in one area so that you can really flourish with what's coming. Lisette said when we got a trailer, she started seeing them everywhere. It's just things that you don't think of, right? Like you don't even think about them until you're focused on them, which is it's so true. So Annie, I know you wanted to talk about number 3 as well. So go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right. So basically I wanted to talk about, so first rank is executive, and it took me months to get to executive rank. And once I started working my business, that was my first goal, is to hit executive. And I remember I think I hit it October 31st last year. Anyways, the night before, I was like, I'm gonna go executive. I worked my butt off until like the cutoff. I was like, I'm 200 BV late or 200 BV short. And I messaged all my people to follow up, and this one potential loyal customer who flaked out so many times, she ended up placing her order, which I did not see until the next morning. And I woke up and I saw that first rank of executive, and I literally like yelled out of bed, and I was like, yes, I did it. To my husband, it was like awesome. So my focus was all I was gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And then every month I kind of the motions of Ruby, and that didn't happen for a while, but eventually it did. And every month I was getting closer and closer. And same thing with Diamond. And when I hit Diamond, I would visualize what it was going to look like when I saw the status change to Diamond on the screen. And you guys, I just kept that in my mind the entire process of the month or whatever that I was trying to hit Diamond, and visualizing, okay, I'm going to be looking at the computer, it's going to be chaotic, and I'm going to watch it to hit, and I'm going to be so excited and then cry. And guess what? All of that happened because I was visualizing and focusing on every single day. And then just a little bit with like personal life, because this carries into every aspect of life. Wherever you put focus is where your energy is going to be put into. So we bought our house, and we bought it for the property. We did not buy it for the house, and we knew that it was going to take us 3 to 5 years before we were even going to start on it. And we are people where we don't like to take out a lot of debt, so we have ways to work really hard, like this business and other avenues, to bring in extra income to pay for adding on and pay for a complete gut, everything in cash. And why I'm telling you this is because we had to go through a lot and a lot of sacrifices and put in a lot of work. There were days where I just was like, I can't do this anymore because I have so many things. But my husband would remind me that this is our focus goal, and that is what would get us through it. And we didn't just achieve that goal, we exceeded that goal. So we were supposed to start in 5 years, and we completed it in 3 years.
And your house is like
That's
gorgeous.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful, you guys, if you could see it. Like, they work so hard. And I think that it goes to show too that like you get to reap the benefits of that. Like when you work so hard towards something and you put like your focus on something for so long, then when you actually get it, it's just so exciting and so rewarding to see like that you push through those hard times. And again, that goes back to your own journey. Like make sure that you're always like reminded that, you know, life isn't always like rainbows and butterflies, you guys. Like, you know, you might see that on social media, or you might think that like, you know, I've even had people call me out on that so many times. Potentials like, well, you know, you just like got this handed to you, or, you know, this just comes so easy for you. And it's like, no, like you are not going to tell a stranger on the street all of your problems and all of these things that have happened to you in your life. That's just not what you're going to do, right? You're going to tell them like all of the good things and show them that highlight reel, because that's what we do as humans, right? But the thing is that people don't really see exactly the struggles that you go through. And I think that's why I was so excited to do this series of Zooms, because it's like, you guys, we have to grow before we can level up. Like you have to be accepting of it. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to learn. And I think so many times it's really easy for us to be like, okay, I've got this in the bag. Like I know what I'm doing. If I just continue to do what I'm supposed to do, like this is going to work. And we can use HAPS as a perfect example. If you're brand new and you don't know what a HAP is, I'm not going to go into it, but like in the beginning of this year, Host to Post HAPs were like blowing up. They literally changed everything in our business. Okay. Like changed the whole game. And then they started slowing down for a little bit, and we had to, and I'll be the first to admit, I just stopped doing them. Have you guys ever done that where you're just like, okay, you get so defeated because you're like, this was working so well for so long, and then it just stopped working. And so you're just like, okay, screw this. It's not working. Like whatever, I'll just go back to basics. But what I didn't do was turn my head and look up and try to see like, okay, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? They were evolving. The people that were growing and going up and up and up, they were evolving. They were open to trying new avenues. They were open to trying new things. They were open to keep doing their haps, but doing them in a different way. And so the ones that are still thriving are the ones that have been doing haps this entire time. And now I'm just now back on the train like, oh my gosh, why did I stop doing these? Because I was afraid to grow. I was afraid to change. I got comfortable knowing what was working. And when that stopped working, I stopped growing. I stopped learning in that particular area. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's just like what was the word? Example that I was trying to use to show you guys that like you always have to be evolving. You can't give up on something just because one thing stops working or one piece of the puzzle stops. You know what I mean? Okay, number 4, the atmosphere is affirming. So we want to add value. This is something that John Maxwell, he's a leadership person. Okay. He is like known for his leadership skills. And he is always saying that you have to add value to people. So all of you leaders that are on this call, if you've got one person on your team, I don't care if you sign them or if somebody else signed them, if they're in your downline, you are a leader. Okay. So you need to work on adding value to people. Add value to people in your everyday life. Add value to your children. Add value to your husbands. Add value to your friends. Add value to your teammates. How can you add value every single day? It's something that I ask myself. I'm not even kidding. Like every hour of the day, I'm like, is this adding value to this person? Like, am I being helpful? Am I adding value? Or am I just answering the question quickly? Or am I genuinely giving them something that they can use? Okay. So, always working on adding value. Create a growth environment. Okay. When I first started this business, I was not in a growth environment. I was in an environment where all we did was talk crap about everybody else and how so-and-so's in this much debt and how so-and-so just bought this house and how this person over here is cheating on her husband and whatever. You guys, I'm not using real life examples, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. Like I was constantly caught up in things that did not matter. I was caught up in the everyday hating our lives, talking gossip all day long because it was just the only thing that I knew how to do. It was, I didn't know about growth. I didn't know about trying to become a better person every single day. I didn't know about, you know, being in a growth environment and learning how to surround myself with valuable people who really truly wanted to level up in their life. Okay. So the first thing about leveling up is knowing who your true friends are. Okay. And that doesn't mean that you have to like cut out every single person in your life that you're like, well, she's never going to make any more money, so I'm cutting her out. It's not about money, right? It's about mindset. It's about growth. It's about them willing to grow. So if you were like to your best friend, like, hey, I'm going to go to this seminar that's like, maybe it's like a Rachel Hollis thing or whatever, or wait, that's a bad example. So let's say you were like, I want you to listen to this podcast because Rachel Hollis is like amazing. I just want you to listen to it. And your best friend's like, no, that's stupid. I'm not going to listen to it. That's an example of somebody who's like shutting down growth. They don't want to learn. They don't want to, Michaela said, can you repeat number 4 one more time? Yes. Number 4 is the atmosphere is affirming. Okay. The atmosphere is affirming, meaning that your atmosphere needs to be a growth environment, you guys. So back to like your friends and things, it doesn't mean that you have to cut them out of your life if they're not willing to grow. But what it does mean is if your best friend's calling you, you know, for 2 hours a day just to complain about her neighbor, then you need to not answer the phone. You need to start making, you know, it a priority to be like, hey, you know, I can't talk right now. I'm busy working with my team, or I can't talk right now. You know, I'm trying to cut drama out of my life. Literally, like say things like that. You guys, you have to be willing to level up. And here's one of 2 things will happen. Either they will level up with you, they will learn to run with you, or they will learn to, and this doesn't even have to be in business. I'm just saying like as a friend, they will learn to, try to be better themselves, or they won't. And that's okay. And you will outgrow them. And outgrowing somebody isn't a negative thing. It's not a negative reflection on you. Outgrowing somebody is actually really healthy. It means that you are doing something for yourself that needs to happen. If I didn't start growing in the last 3 years, I don't even know the type of person that I would be. I wouldn't be the mom that I am. I wouldn't be the fiance that I am to Brian. Like, I wouldn't be the friend that I am to my friends. And I wouldn't be the leader that I am if I would have stayed in that mindset that was not willing to grow, because I just didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing, right? I didn't know that I was supposed to be living each day learning. Okay. So, encouragement, it's the same. It's still on number 4. Before I move on, I want to talk about this. Encouragement is key. So this is something that I do want to apply to our business right now. Encouragement is so important. It's something that when I was a new leader, I did not know how to utilize. I thought that like I never needed encouragement. Okay. I'm a red. So like for me, it's like money, money, money. All I got to do is make the money. All I see is money, right? I didn't need somebody to encourage me to work. I worked myself. But that is like, I don't even know what the statistic is, but I'm pretty sure there's like only 2% of people actually like are motivated themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like only 2% of people don't need that motivation or that encouragement. Okay. Most people do. So look around you. I think that the first thing that we say that's like something that we just need to like boycott altogether on this team is like, my team's not working. Nobody wants this as much as I do. Like, it's so easy for us to just like blame, right? Blame. Like, well, they're not working. They don't want this. They must not want this. When was the last time you reached out and said something encouraging? When was the last time you encouraged your team to work? Okay. And I'm saying this as in like compliment status. Like, hey, like, I know you joined this business with me to do X, Y, Z. I am here to help you do that. I want you to do this with me. How can I help encourage you to do this? How can I help do this? Where is that encouragement coming from? You can say something like, tell them how proud you are of them. Like, I know things haven't gone the way that you thought they were going to go when you first started, but like that can change right now. I just wanted to give you some words of encouragement to let you know how incredible you were. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys know how to encourage people, right? Encourage them. Because here's the thing, people are going to work for encouragement all day long more than they're going to work on like, okay, tasks work too, right? We know that we can give people tasks and they're going to do those. But in all reality, if you're just doing tasks and you don't have a growth mindset, they're just going to be doing the task. They're not like, we're not adding value to them, right? We need to be adding that encouragement to our teammates in order for them to feel like they're being added or they're having added value added to them. Giving them tasks is great, but you got to make sure that you're balancing that by giving them that encouragement to grow and giving them that encouragement to keep going in this business, because I got to tell you, so many people need that, and encouragement is key. Okay, number 5 is getting out of your comfort zone. And I'm going to let Annie take this away. I kind of already said no growth happens here, but Anne, what do you have to add on getting out of your comfort zone?
Oh, geez. I feel like that's a lot. But I pretty much covered it. I just want to say that you have to step out of your comfort zone. If you're going to grow, you just have to. And it's going to take time to get there, but just put the steps into motion, because your confidence is going to grow and your business is going to grow. And who cares what anybody else, you and your family, immediate family, know the truth. So just do it, and the confidence will grow with it. And really, you are the only one that's holding yourself back. So do whatever you need to do, push out of those comfort zones. And then the only other thing I was going to mention is that, I was in a real estate meeting today, and they were talking about other brokers. There's a broker in our office, and she does videos for social media. And there's a lot of very established brokers there, and that are not utilizing that form of advertising. They're too scared. They're in their comfort zones. And in my head, gosh, this relates so much to what we do, because we have to push out of our comfort zones in order to build on this business. And it's the same. So I'm literally sitting in that room watching who's not going to do that, and they're not going to grow their business because they're not going to go out of their comfort zones. And I think that's really, I mean, it takes time. Even for myself, I was on social media before. I only used media for business, and you would never have caught me doing a live or doing the product stories or anything like that before. And now I do, and I don't even think about it. And if you watch any of those, I typically don't have makeup and I don't have my hair done. I'm not like that. I get it done. And a lot of the feedback I get from people is they like how real they are, because that's me, that's my life, that's how it's going to be. So if that's one of your fears, get out of your head and just do it.
Yes, I love that so much. And so many people tell me on a daily basis, like, you know, my potential distributors, like, I can't do what you do. Like, I can't like talk to people about the products. I can't talk to people. Like, I don't go live. That's out of my comfort zone. And I'm like, oh my goodness, girl, I didn't do that for 2 years. 2 years of my business, I stayed in that comfort zone. I stayed in it, and I was warm and cozy. And I was like, no way am I getting out of this. And it wasn't until I really saw that so many women on this team, so many other people on this team needed me to step up and step out of that comfort zone so they could do the same. When you step out of your comfort zone, you guys, so many others will follow you. They will follow in your footsteps on like, okay, I am trusting in her. I am trusting that if she can do this, I can do this. And you are showing so many other people that you are really, that you're really like Annie said, you're real and you're raw and you're a normal person and you have normal fears. I tell people all the time, like, if you're nervous to go live, good. That's normal. Say it. Say it on the live. Do you know how nervous I am right now? Whew. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me rein it in. I've got some notes right here. Let me just like read my notes for a second. Like, that's normal, you guys. That is so normal. And people can relate to that. Like, wait, all she's doing is reading off a piece of paper. Like, I did that with our new skincare routine. I don't know how to say ashwagandha and like bakachul and like all those things. I was sitting there like, how do I say this? How am I gonna like mess it up? Like, which one's which and what am I gonna do? So I wrote a bunch of notes down, and I told the people in my live, hold up, I gotta read my notes. You know what I'm saying? And it made people laugh, and it made them know that like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it, because she just like butchered all of that. I am not an esthetician. I am not somebody who knows anything about skincare. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was outside of my comfort zone, and that was just like a couple weeks ago. But I'm constantly pushing myself outside of that. And you guys got to be too. You got to be learning new things. And even for me, like, it's so simple, but like getting back on our routine, that's outside of my comfort zone, because we got super comfortable with traveling and like eating like crap and, you know, not taking care of ourselves, not working out, because it's easy when we're traveling to just grab food wherever, or it's an easy excuse for us to go out to dinner because this is a new city and a new town and we want to see what you guys know what I'm saying. So like, we got in like this comfort zone of just like not taking care of ourselves, if that makes any sense. And now it's literally outside of my comfort zone to eat healthy. It's outside of my comfort zone to go work out. And that sounds so stupid, but it is, because it's something that I just stopped doing. I stopped taking care of myself. And so now I've got to put that into motion and start. I just have to start. You guys know what I'm saying? You just have to start. And then everything comes back into motion. Then you get all excited. Then you're waking up with a gulp, because now you've told people that you're starting to work out again. Now you've told people that you're starting to eat healthy again. So it keeps you accountable, and getting outside of that comfort zone allows you to keep yourself accountable and keep growing, if that makes any sense. Lisette, I do need carb control, like stat. Okay, so number 6 is wake up excited, which is what we've been talking about this whole time. But the one thing that I wanted to say really quickly, and then I'm going to pass the mic to Caitlin, is in this book, he says we are called, he says he was called to make a difference, okay? Now, a career is something that you can quit or leave at any time. A calling is something that is yours for life. and you have to step into that calling. And I will never forget this. I'm going to share this really quick story and then pass it over to Caitlin. So I remember Brian saying to me, like, you're such a good saleswoman. Like, you're just like a natural leader. You're a salesperson, like all these things. And I was like, no, I am not a leader. I am not a salesperson. I am not comfortable, like, leading this many people. I'm not, like, you guys, I had so many doubts about being this leader, growing to presidential and ambassador and beyond. I still have doubts on that, like growing and getting outside of my comfort zone when it comes to having so many people that look to me for advice. That's a big order, right? That's a tall order. Those are big shoes to fill. But I truly do believe that it's my calling. And I remember one day I got off a Zoom. I don't even remember which Zoom it was, but I got off a Zoom in the car and I was just fired up. I just spoke fire into all these people. And I was like so excited about it. And I turned over and I looked at Brian and I was like, I'm a good leader. Like, I'm a good leader. And he was like, yeah, you're like a really good leader. Like, this is your calling. And I stepped into that calling. And it was right before we went triple and Prez back to back, when we really started pouring into our team. And when I started believing that I had what it took, that I had what it took to step into my calling as a leader and know that, like, pouring into people lights a fire I never even knew that I had. You know what I mean? Oh, you're good, Caitlin. So she's going to go put Quinny to bed real quick. So anyways, like, it lights a fire for me pouring into you guys. It's 11 p.m. here and I'm probably not even going to be able to sleep for another 2 hours because I just love pouring into you guys and talking to you and just filling your cup. And so one thing, I think that I'm going to talk about it in another one of these. Yeah, it's number 10, but I don't want to forget. So I'm going to say one more thing about this. I was on a Zoom last night with Kelsey Thornton. She's an ambassador and she interviewed me and I was so honored for her to interview me in front of her team. And one thing that she said was that you always have to have people like, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget exactly what she said, but it's basically like having a ever flowing pipe of, like, you have people pouring into you from above and then you pour into people below you. Does that make sense? So, like, not below you. I hate saying that. You guys know what I'm trying to say. So you're always having somebody that's going to fill your cup and then you're always filling somebody else's cup. And if you're not getting that cup filled yourself, then it's literally impossible to grow. You're not growing. If you're not filling your cup, then you're not growing. And then you can't help your team grow either. You know what I mean? Like layered leadership. Yes, Lisette, that's exactly what it is. Okay, so number 7, and I love this one. I want to check the time. Okay, we're doing good. Failure is not your enemy. I want you guys, everybody, a fountain. Ashley, that's what it was. That's what she was talking about. It needs to be a fountain. I couldn't think of the word. That's exactly what it is. Thank you, Ashley. So number 7 is failure is not your enemy. I want you guys to, like, really have this sink in right now. Failure is not your enemy. Okay. Oh, Brian just flushed the toilet and it, like, scared the crap out of me. Okay. You're allowed and encouraged. Okay. Did you guys hear this? You're allowed and encouraged to fail. Okay. You guys might be thinking, like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you telling us to fail right now? Here's the thing. With failure comes lessons. Okay. With failure comes lessons. Every failure I've ever had in my business, every failure I've ever had in my life, I've learned something from all of them. Okay. Some of them took me years to see the lesson in them. Okay. That's growth right there. You have to grow in order to see the lesson. Okay. So some of them took me years to look back and go, oh my gosh. Like when that happened to me, that was such a failure that I was, like, so embarrassed about that, like whatever it was. And then I look back and I'm like, but I learned from that. Here's what I learned from it. And you can pick things out of all of these things that you categorize as failure, but it's things that you had to go through, right? You guys have heard me say this before, but, like, in order to get to the next mountaintop, you have to go through a valley. You might consider that valley a failure. Maybe it's losing rank. Maybe it's somebody leaves your team for another MLM. Maybe it's, you lose a best friend, whatever that may be. You guys will have struggles in your business. Of course you will. You're going to have struggles in your life, but those are values. Okay. Or values. Sorry. I'm like reading and talking. Those are valleys in your life that you have to go through in order to get up to that mountaintop. Right. And so, one thing that actually Kelsey said last night too, was that in the valleys, you'll notice that it's greener. You'll notice that things are growing and they're like blooming in the valleys, right? Not up on top of the mountain. So those valleys are the time for growth. Okay. These are the time for growth, and you guys have to be open to this. I'm telling you, like, especially if you're a newbie on here. I know for me, I heard self-development like preached when I first started. And I was like, yeah, don't need it. Like, don't have time for it. Not doing it. I just got to work. You know what I mean? And then I sat at executive for 10 months and I sat at distributor, didn't promote to executive for 10 months. And then I heard it at conference, and I don't know why it clicked, but something clicked that was like, hey, you got to grow to go to the next level. And I'm like, what is this even about? Then I came home and I listened to like 3 books in a week. And I went diamond in 45 days after that. What's the coincidence there? I opened up my eyes to growing. Okay. I opened up my heart to growing. I realized that I could not lead a team of people without accepting that I needed to change first, without accepting that I needed to grow first. So you guys have to be accepting of this. You have to see this and go, wow, if I'm going to get to that next level, I have got to be growing. And one of the first things that I gave up was TV. Okay, let me give you guys an example of something really quickly, and then I'll move on to number 8. I have a friend, and I'm not going to say her name. She's not on this team or anything, but like, I have a friend that literally, I remember this was like 4 or 5 years ago now. She had a list in her notes of all the fall TV shows and winter TV shows and spring TV shows and summer TV shows, like literally in her notes. Every single day and time that she would watch them and record them. And she would wake up early before going to work to watch her TV shows. Okay, we're talking like Grey's Anatomy. I love them. I love Grey's Anatomy, you guys, but hear me out. So we're talking like Grey's Anatomy. You know, I don't even know because I don't really watch anything else, but like The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, whatever, like all of these TV shows that she would watch, and she would literally wake up early to watch TV. And I remember thinking to myself, like, dang, like I love TV and I'll like sit there and Netflix binge like all day long, right? This was back in the day. And it did nothing for me, right? But like that, I remember being like, man, she is dedicated to her TV shows. Imagine if she dedicated that time of waking up early to growth. Like, imagine if she dedicated that time to like goals or like doing other things. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, it dawned on me. I thought of this last night when I was listening to this book, and I'm just like, man, I remember that was one of the first things that I really had to get over. And it was hard for me. It was hard for me to get rid of TV shows. And I'll tell you, like, it's not like I never watch a show, you guys. Like me and Caitlin just the other night were like, oh my gosh, we got to catch up on the new Greys, because you can have a show, you can have something that you unwind to, but be mindful of how much time that you guys are spending on this. Because I'm willing to bet you that if you look back, you might even not even realize how much time you're spending on TV shows, or how much time you're spending on things that aren't filling your cup, things that are maybe like drowning you with like drama and like, oh, I gotta watch it. Brian makes fun of me so much because when we first got together, I would watch One Tree Hill like it was nobody's business, like on repeat, like just like, I mean, I've seen the seasons like 17,000 times, and I would like talk about them like they were my friends. Like I'd be like, oh, my friend Nathan did this. Like literally, I would talk about them like they were my friends. That's how into TV shows I was. And then I realized that I really needed to give that up and start developing myself. And now when TV shows are on, I'm like, I'm not even like paying attention to it because I'm working or I'm doing something else or I'm writing down my goals at the same time or whatever it may be. And it'll take you guys some time to give up those things. Maybe it's not TV shows for you, but whatever it is, make sure that you're really taking a hard look at your life and where you can improve from things that aren't adding value. They're not adding value to your life. Okay. I'm going to move on to that. So number 8 is others. Oh my gosh, my handwriting's terrible. I can't even read my own handwriting. Others are growing. You guys, I don't even know what that says. Okay, others are growing is number 8. Others are growing. You don't achieve goals, you grow into them. Okay, so when you're, oops, I'm like opening things. Hold on. Goodness, I need to get my life together. I'm just checking the chat really quickly because I saw a ton of things. Okay. So you don't achieve goals, you grow into them, right? So all of these goals that you guys are writing down every single month, if you're not hitting them, like let's use the last 3 months for an example. If you wrote down a goal for the last 3 months and you have not hit it, there's something blocking you from hitting it, and it's growth. Okay, I want you guys to, that's like a big pill to swallow, right? Because it's like, there's something blocking you. It's not how many messages you're sending. It's not how much work you're doing. It's not, anything else. It's that you have something that you need to learn. Okay, so if in the last 3 months, your goal was to rank up and you haven't gotten there yet, or your goal was to make an extra $500 a month and you haven't gotten there yet, then you need to ask yourself, how many books have you read in the last 3 months? How many podcasts have you listened to? How many shows have you not watched to work? Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like, self-reflect. That's something that I've learned over the last couple of years, is like really self-reflecting on every single time that something's not going my way, every single time that something isn't happening for me. I self-reflect and I look back on like, oh man, why did I do that? Why wasn't I doing this? Why wasn't I spending more time doing this than I was doing this? Like, you have to be willing to self-reflect. And so many of us will look back instead and be like, well, I'm working my butt off and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. This is just, people aren't buying it. People are just saying this, and it's the blame game. It's they're not buying, or they don't have the money, or they don't want to join my team, or they. Okay. You're not accepting growth. You need to accept it and learn to take responsibility for your own goals, and know that in order to get to that goal, you've got to do some work. Okay, so whether you're a newbie on this call or you're a seasoned DT, I hope that I'm speaking some life. Drop a 5. I don't even know what number we're on. Drop a 5 if I'm speaking some life into you guys tonight. Like, if you needed to hear this, because I think it goes to show that like everybody, no matter what, yes. Okay, I'm loving this. I love seeing all the 5s blow up. So seriously, I just feel like if it's not talked about enough, growth and growing yourself. I know that I've said it like 10,000 times on this Zoom, but like, if you're not there yet, that's the missing piece. Okay. That's the missing piece for this next level, is this growth. And we don't talk about it enough. We talk about 6 lists all day long. We talk about 10xing what you're doing all day long. We talk about, we talk about self-development, but we don't really talk about it in a way that's like, it is so unbelievably critical to your success in anything that you do. Whether you're talking about your marriage, you're talking about being a good mom, whether you're talking about being a good friend, business owner, whatever it may be, it is so critical that we are growing our minds on a daily basis so that we have more to offer to other people. Okay. So I'm going to move on to number 9. And if Caitlin or Annie, you want to jump in at any point in this one or the next one, number 9 is people desire change. Okay, this one is like one of my favorites, because people desire change, but they never really do it, right? We know this because we have potential distributors come to us 24/7 that's like, I need to change. I want my life to change. I want to do something different. Like, can you help me do this? And then like a year goes by and they still haven't joined us, right? They desire it. They want it, but it's our job to help other people see that change is difficult, but it's also doable. Okay. So it might be difficult. It might be uncomfortable. It might be like out of the norm, but it's so unbelievably critical to anything that you do in your life. And it's not talked about enough. Like, I feel like it's not talked about enough anywhere, even in school. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like just like growing and continuing to grow is not talked about enough in anything that we do. So leveling up, we cannot change without growing, but growth requires change. Okay, I might have to say that again because he said this in the book and it got me really good. And now I'm like not really understanding it. So we can't change without growing. Yeah, we cannot change without growing, but growth requires change. So what I got out of this is like, nothing is going to change whatsoever if you don't grow, right? So that comes from getting out of your comfort zone. You have to grow in order to make changes. And then I lost it. There was one other thing that I wanted to say really quickly about that, but it's gone like that. Annie, do you have anything to add, or Caitlin, to this last people desire, or not last one, this is number 9, people desire change?
I would just suggest that people reflect on maybe something in the past where they've experienced growth and you had to change something in order to get there, and just reflect on it and just know that wherever you want to go and grow, you have to change something in all scenarios.
I love that. It's so true. We always use like working out, right? Like if you're not taking care of your body and you're not going to the gym regularly, like if you want something to change, you have to do it. And so like, it's so funny because when you have a goal, like, you know, you're going to go on vacation, then people can get in the gym like every single morning at 5 a.m., right? Because they're like, I've got to look good in that swimsuit. I've got to get there. And so you're willing to make that change because you have a goal. It's the same thing in our business. If you don't know what you're working towards, you guys, and I'm talking like big, scary, scary dreams. If you don't know what you're working towards, I just saw, oh man, I can't remember her name. I'll try and look for it and post it in the team page tomorrow, because this was something that really spoke to me. But we went to a Try It. If anybody remembers her name, Steph, you were there. Anyways, if anybody remembers her name. Rai, yes, thank you. So Rai just posted something the other day, and it was of her 2019 dream board. And like half of the things that she didn't even know that she had completed were done. Like they just came into fruition. She was looking back on it and she was like, oh my gosh, this happened, because she made this dream board and she like put it into, you know, she thought about it every single day and she was like, these are the things that I'm going to do. And they have come true. And I'm telling you guys, when you decide, when you write things on your mirror, when you say things out loud, when you really truly like want something and you're constantly thinking about it and you're constantly allowing the positive to come from it instead of like doubting it, or, you know, because we all have our days where we're going to doubt the things that we're going for. We all have our days where it's going to be harder for us to see that vision. But knowing how to get out of that all comes with growth too, right? Hand in hand. And we only have about 10 minutes left. So I want to get on to number 10 really quickly, and then we can open it up for questions if you guys have any questions. So number 10 is growth is modeled and expected. Okay, so the number one thing that I want you guys to get out of this is that you guys need to have somebody to follow. You need to have somebody that you can look to as a mentor. Okay, so for me, that is corporate. That is top leaders. That is John Maxwell. That is people who are leaders and that have done what I want to do in my life. Okay, those are my mentors. I may not know some of them in person, but you know, they are writing books and doing podcasts and speaking at public events and doing all of these things that I someday want to do or strive to be like. And so those are my mentors. Your mentor might be your diamond leader. It might be me. It might be Anne. It might be Caitlin. It might be whoever it is. It might be your dad. You know what I'm saying? But you need to have a mentor that you can go to at any time and seek growth. Okay, you can say, you know, I'm feeling down today and I need this, and you will get value added to you. You need to have somebody like that. It is imperative for your success to have something that, or to have somebody that you can look up to. If it's Rachel Hollis, you better have her, you know, be following her on your Spotify so that you can, if you're having a down day, you can go listen to her latest podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to have it readily available at all times. Michaela, number 10 is growth is modeled and expected. Yes, expected. Nobody, I love this. Nobody is too high or low for growth. Okay. So y'all know Steph and Joel Dunn. Okay. Drop a 6 in the chat if you were like, oh my gosh, like someday if you get to meet them, it is like, they are seriously so incredible. They are black diamonds in our company. But let me tell you something about them. You would think that making over $250,000 a month, okay, you would think that they're probably like, they've got it in the bag. Like, they probably don't need to grow anymore, right? Like, they know everything. They've slayed the game for over 10 years. Like, they know everything, right? Yet they sit in the front of every single event with a pad of paper and a pencil. They take notes on everything. They know that they still are not done growing. They know that they have more to learn. That will humble somebody so quickly that thinks that they deserve ambassador right now. Do you guys know what I'm saying? That will humble you so much because you see somebody like them and you envy them. You are like watching them and just like, oh my gosh, if I could just have their life. Yet they are literally so humbled and so incredible, and they know that they need to grow more. And that is why they are where they're at, because they're still in that learning mode. Nobody is too low or too high for growth. You better always be learning. And if that is something that you understand right now, drop a 7. If you are understanding me, you are hearing me, and this is touching your soul right now, you guys. Like, you need to know that whatever is keeping you from that next level is growth. I hope that you get off this call and go download 7 books. Like, I know Annie's read, like, Annie, how many books have you read this year? I know it's way more than 12. And my goal was to read 12 books, which was 1 a month. And I am seriously so disappointed in myself because I had only read 10 and I was a little bit behind. And now I've already read 2 books this month. So like, or not this month, sorry, last month, October. Yes. So seriously, I've already read 2 books I read an entire book on the plane, you guys. Like, I was so excited for growth because I know that the only thing that's keeping me from that next level is that I need to grow. So I am burying myself in leadership podcasts, in just pouring into me and keeping my fire lit, because I know that that's what's going to take me to that next level. So, the last thing that I wanted to say was something that Caitlin and I were talking about the other night. We were just like drinking some wine and talking about life and business and everything. And one thing that we talked about was what were we doing? Like, what were we doing when we double promoted this year? Like, what were we doing when we back-to-back promoted? And what we were doing was everything in our life was flowing. Our marriages were good. Our friendships were good. We were working out. We were eating healthy. We were doing all the things. Okay, forget the business for a second. We were doing all the things. We were listening to our self-development. We were making time for ourselves. We were taking care of ourselves. And then everything else was just falling into place, and our business was exploding. The reason why, and I firmly believe this, is because this is how it goes. It goes God, family, business. Okay? God, family, business. When your mind is set on God, when you are fully committed to not having your business be your number one, which sounds kind of crazy because coming from Rochelle, who is like work all day long, red leader, right? What I'm trying to say to you guys is that there are some times that you need to take a step back and know that your priorities need to align. You need to get your priorities straight in order for your business to flourish. Okay, so if promotion months are like a whole nother story. So like on promotion months, you're going to hear me say, leave the dishes, Tell your husband he's cooking dinner all month. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those are like a different story. But like day in and day out working your business, your marriage has got to come before your business 100% of the time. You being a mom has got to come before your business 100% of the time. Taking care of yourself, eating healthy, going to the gym, working out, getting your life where you want your life to be. Your business will follow. And the reason why your business might not be taking off right now is because you're so focused on making this work that everything around you is caving in. Drop an 8 if you're feeling like that. Everything around you is caving because I gotta work. But you're not focused on anything else around you. You have to get your priorities straight. Okay, in order for us to grow, in order for us to flourish, in order for all these seeds that we've been planting to actually grow, we have to be willing to step back and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to start taking care of me. I'm going to start giving my first hour of my day to my God. I'm going to start really, pouring into me and getting my day started right with self-development too, making sure that I'm taking care of me. Making sure that when I want to go get my nails done or go get a pedicure and have a me time, because that's what I do when I really need some like heavy self-development. I'm like, I'm going to just take a day for some self-care. Okay, you guys have got to be taking care of yourself, going to the gym, feeling good. When you wake up, sorry, let me mute. When you wake up in the morning and you feel like you're yawning, that's also probably because when's the last time you worked out? When's the last time you ate well? Like I ask myself this all the time. I'm like, geez, Rochelle, you want to feel better. You want to be on fire. You want your business to like run itself. Well, like you need to just run yourself first. You need to take care of you. When you start taking care of you, your business will automatically fall into line. Your focus, right? Wherever your focus is, everything around you in your life is going to start going better. It's going to start flowing better. It's going to start being more organized. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Huge shout out and thank you to Annie and Caitlin for getting on here tonight and sharing some tips with me. Do you guys have anything to add before we close it out? I'm frozen over here, I think, or maybe Annie is. I thought you unmuted yourself, Anne.
I don't think I have anything to mention.
Oh, there you are. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Seriously, you guys. I'm so glad that we did this. Let me stop the recording.